Hello and welcome to CTN News Spotlight. I'm Stephanie Ring. Today we're talking about crime in Coon Rapids. And you may have seen in the recent fall Coon Rapids Connection City newsletter, crime is at a historically low rate. And that's really good news for people like Police Chief Brad Wise, who's here today to talk about the statistics. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
First of all, the 2014 Uniform Crime Report. Explain that data, where it comes from.
All right, so all police departments use what's called the Uniform Crime Report to report their crime data. So it's a national standard established by the FBI, and it allows cities to compare themselves to each other. So for instance, the Uniform Crime Report rate, or crime rate in Coon Rapids, could, if you chose to, be compared to New York City. It's especially helpful as people are making decisions about where they might want to live, if crime especially is important to them, and I think for most people it is.
And for 2014, those statistics look really good for our community?
In 2014, we've had our best uniform crime report since the 1960s, meaning our crime is at the lowest it's been since the late 1960s.
Any particular areas where we saw a dramatic decrease?
The most significant decrease, yes, was in thefts. Actually, two categories, broadly based in theft-type crimes, is both burglaries and thefts are basically at historic lows for our city.
Any particular reasons why you think the crime rate has gone down?
Well, I think a couple of reasons. Actually, first, I'll say we have a great police department in this city, a very engaged department that wants to be involved with its community, and that community police partnership is extremely important, especially when it comes to reporting suspicious activity. People are not reluctant to call and report suspicious activity so we can prevent crime from happening in the first place. The second thing that I talk about a lot is our rental ordinance. In 2009, Coon Rapids passed crime-free multi-housing ordinance, and that ordinance is designed to strengthen the partnership between landlords and the police departments, or our police department in particular, to help landlords reduce crime in their property.
Okay, and there's a class that's involved with that, I understand?
Yes, we do something, we call it crime-free multi-housing class, but every landlord in Coon Rapids is required to attend this class. It's an all-day event, and I actually teach a part of that. And a significant part of that class is where I talk to the landlords and tell them that our goals as a police department are the same as their goals as landlords. Number one, we want them to have tenants that pay their rent. We want them to have tenants that don't damage their property, and we want them to have tenants that don't torture the neighborhood. That's the words that I use. Sure. But they get that partnership, and they understand that we're trying to teach them to be successful. The better they are at being landlords, the better it is for the community overall.
Sure. Now, occasionally our city sometimes has a higher profile crime incident. Any thoughts on that, as far as sometimes people think, oh no, we are having a huge amount of crime in our city, but in fact the total opposite is true. We've never had a historic low like this.
Yes, is that we are at historic lows for our crime rate, like I said. That means we're not immune to the unusual occurrence that happens that gets in the news. More often than not, it's a very random type event, and sometimes it's just going to happen in your neighborhood. But that said, is that we have a great city. I'm a Coon Rapids resident, longtime Coon Rapids resident myself. I take these things very seriously and work very hard to try to reduce the incidence of significant events. But when they do happen, I always want to be out front and say that we have an engaged police department and that we're a strong community no matter.
And I know the police department has done a lot with public information and putting more out there too to keep the community informed.
I would encourage anyone to follow us on Facebook or Twitter to stay informed. We try not to put too much information out because we want it to be timely and relevant. We don't want to just make it busy work, but we want to keep the city residents in the loop.
And how about just a quick word on people calling police when they see something, to not be afraid to call?
That's exactly right, is that we always encourage people to pick up the phone and call 911 to report suspicious activity. Suspicious activity reports are not crimes. They're efforts to reduce crime. And if we get a chance to interact before a crime is committed, then we help our crime stats.
Sure. Well, thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it. And thank you for watching CTN News Spotlight. We'll see you again here soon.